Testing, testing. Um, Good morning. So, um, here we are. It's Saturday morning, and I need to get new lotion. This is almost out. I love this lotion. It smells so good. Mm. So, this is, I don't have the girls today, so this isn't like my everyday routine, but when I have time to myself and have space to do this, I stay up way too late the night before, and then I sleep until about 8. Yes, that's sleeping in for me. And then I woke up this morning and I still had my eye pillow on, and I did like a guided meditation to yesterday, a couple days ago. I did one to Joe Dispenza, one of his morning meditations, and they're really cool. And then I was like, I'm gonna go make some tea and share some thoughts here. And because I had some stuff come up when I was doing like the meditation, not necessarily related to the meditation. The meditation was more like not just like a visualization, but like an embodiment of my future self. How, I'm always talking about like creating the life that I want, and it was very aligned with that. And I didn't know it was going to be. And honestly, like I first heard Joe Dispenza in his work in 2019, 2018, I think it was. And he resonated with me a lot. If you know his work, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, you might like it. It's really powerful. Anyways, I did that, and while I was doing the guided meditation, of course, a lot of different things came up for me, which was really cool. But one thing that I was really pleasantly surprised about was that, and I ran into this other day too when I was doing like, I think I was listening. Oh, I was listening to the Four Agreements, right? And I had heard that audiobook um, for the first time in like 2011, or like 14 years ago. And I remember when I heard it, it was so revolutionary to me. It was like life changing, and I was like, yes, like this is key for me. Like it just resonated so much, and I was like, you know, don't make any assumptions. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. And anyways, and then the fifth one that came later, be skeptical but learn to listen. Which I thought was really interesting, and um, also resonated with me. But anyways, I listened to that book the other day again, and I was like, oh wow! Like when I first heard it, it felt like it was so far away from me. Like, oh, that's so cool. I would love to exist that way. I would love to exist freely like that. I would love to be someone who raises their kids this way. And I listened to it like last week or something, and I was like, holy shit! Like this is how I live my life now, and I didn't even realize it. But I think having set that intention when I first listened to it back in 2011, something stuck, you know? And so that was really cool to listen to it now and be like, oh, okay, wow, like I'm really doing a lot of these things. I'm really being impeccable with my word, which is huge. Not just integrity and transparency and truth, but like being honest with myself first and foremost about what I want out of life, what I want out of any dimension of my life, any area of my life. And like not settling and going for my dreams like full force, no matter how crazy they are, how crazy they seem or sound to anyone. So that was really cool. But when I was listening to Joe Dispenza's guided meditation this morning, honestly, he was saying a lot of the things that like I be saying on here and like on my podcast about like imagining yourself as like the highest version of yourself, and or like, you know, your biggest dreams, and you're already living in that life, and just feel what it would feel like to live in that life and what you would be doing and so many things. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like it just felt really affirming to hear somebody whose work I really loved and it resonated with me, and I saw it as like, oh, it's a good like guiding, you know, guiding way. One way, there's so many different things that like I follow and do, and but like it was just really cool to like hear it again after a really long time and be like, wow, like I'm really existing like this right now. And that was really cool. Yeah. Hold on, let me cool this down. I also brought my toast, my gluten-free toast. I went to the farmer's market the other day with my friend, and I got this jelly. It was a local jelly here. I think it was Gilbert. Let me see it. Anyways, it's called the, yeah. I'm like, am I reading that right? It's called the Kitchen Witch, Arizona, and the flavor is Vampire's Kiss. And it's really good. It's like a sweet and spicy, like a little bit spicy flavor. It's yummy. So when I was doing the guided meditation, and what came to me was yesterday I was editing a podcast, right? I recorded it earlier this week, I think. Yeah, actually I recorded it twice because it's a very nuanced conversation, complex. And it's a big conversation. It's basically, it's not about religion, but it's in that realm. It's more about my relationship with God, which is for me an even bigger conversation. And I always wanted to. I have a book that I'm writing. It's called Journey to Nevaeh. It's about like the my birth story with the twins, like my pregnancy and our whole family experience with that. And it's a really beautiful story. And so Journey and Nevaeh are my twins. Miss Selah is my firstborn, and I always wanted to write a book also titled after her. Um, and Selah is a really beautiful word. It's a Hebrew word that I found in the that's used a lot in the Book of Psalms in the Bible. And Book of Psalms is like a lot of like kind of poetic type work and writings. Really beautiful and and really just raw human emotion really throughout. But after a lot of the verses in Psalms, you'll see the word Selah, and it means like sacred pause, like to stop and reflect on like what just transpired or what just happened or what you just read. And when I was pregnant with Selah, I went to a conference in Colorado Springs with Ransom Heart, John Eldridge, and um, I went to Garden of the Gods, which is like a hiking trail, mountain range, whatever, like a set of mountains or something like that. And because I yelped it, I was like, what's there to do around here? And it's Colorado, so it's like really beautiful. And I was probably like 3 months pregnant. And I went with the intention of, amongst other things, the name of the conference was called Restoration of the Heart, right? So I'm somebody who's always leaned into like healing work and through different modalities and belief systems and things like that. And I went not just with the intention of going for the restoration of my heart and like that work and experience and those hearing those speakers and that energy and stuff, but also like for the solitude and the just kind of like really sitting with myself and with my baby who I was pregnant with at the time. And I knew she was a girl by then. I did know she was a girl, but we hadn't picked out her name yet. And I was always of the belief that like the mom should get to pick out the name because, like, bro, have you ever been pregnant? It's a lot. The mom should absolutely get to pick out the name. And so I went um, with that intention of like, okay, I'm gonna go and like really do some deep listening to God and to my baby and my intuition and come back with her name, right? And I had been thinking about things like Lily for some reason was the first name that came to me, which just never really stuck, but um, that was interesting. And I really liked the name Poem. You know, something in like that realm. Song was really pretty too. Um, and I was getting ready to leave this little trail that I did, just like an easy trail because I was pregnant and I didn't want to fall. And I was getting ready to leave, and I had like my blanket and my bag and stuff. And I looked out over the mountain range before I like walked back down to the car. And I just kind of stood there. And I was just like still talking with God. And it felt like there was like a breeze and it just kind of like whispered through my awareness. And I just heard Selah. And I was like, oh my God, that's her name. I was like, oh my God, I was so happy because I was like, oh my God. Like I had heard the word so many times because I used to listen to the Daily Audio Bible, which is like an app in a community um, where Brian Harding, he reads through the Bible every single day. He reads through the Bible in a year. And so that's when I first audibly heard the word because when he would read through the book of Psalms, you know, he'd always be like Selah. And I knew what it meant. I just never considered it for a name, but it was just like such a beautiful word. And it was very like poetic still and like, I don't know, just like the most beautiful word I could imagine. And I was like, could we use this as a name? Like, can we do that? And I looked it up and I Googled it and I sent it to her dad, who we were married at the time. And I was like, please, 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 can we name her this? You know, he's back in Arizona, and so I was like just texting him. I don't remember if I called him or not. And he looked it up and he found some things that he liked about it, and he agreed. I was like, oh my God. So like I was just so happy after that because like, you know, it was such a beautiful word and such a beautiful name. And now like the baby that I could feel moving inside me, I knew her name. And it wasn't something that like I don't feel like I named her. I feel like the name came to me, like it was given to me when I stopped and asked and listened. So that was just really beautiful. And so what I was getting this morning when I was doing the guided meditation is I was thinking about the podcast that I was editing yesterday, which the podcast topic is how me walking away from Christianity affected my relationship with God and with Jesus. And I was listening back to that podcast yesterday and I was like, oh, that's so cool. I love that. And I was like, I wonder, it feels like it's a series. It feels like it's a bigger conversation than just one episode, which I love. And and then I was like, this is okay, follow along. Okay, we're gonna go a little ADHD right now. So I was thinking about how, Journey to Nevaeh is my book. Let me see. It's my book about the birth story with the twins, right? And so I wanted to have a book also named after Selah. And I thought it was going to be like a poetry book because, it's just like Psalms, poetry, beauty, Selah, the word. And I've been struggling to finish writing this book for years. I started it the year after they were born. Actually, no, the same year they were born, at the end of 2018, I started it. And I would write, at that time, it was posts on Instagram, like long posts, on the anniversary of the date that whatever had transpired that year before transpired. So, like, when I went to Colorado to have the in utero surgery, like, I wrote about it. And it was so therapeutic and such a beautiful experience to, like, go back and remember. But my intention with it was to go back because it was such a hard experience and hard year to, like, process, but also to, like, name the things that happened as the victory that they were. Meaning, like, yes, it's been hard. Yes, I'm overwhelmed. Yes, I'm spent in every which way. But, like, also look at how beautiful this experience was. Look at how blessed we are. Look at how fortunate we are to have these babies alive. And I wrote it, and I was a very devoted Christian at the time. And so a lot of the language that I used was very much that, which is beautiful and fine, and I don't want to change. But also, I have evolved a lot in the dogma that I subscribe to and things like that. And so I didn't know how to pick the project back up to finish it because it felt like I was a different person, especially different in, like, my belief system, not necessarily my relationship with God, which is what makes it easier to pick up and go back to, because that's ultimately what the story is about, is like God's witness with me and how close he was. But for a long time, I was like, damn, I don't even know how to edit this. I don't even know how to read it. Like, it's so hard to, like, go back to that when I'm still, like, very much in the process of figuring out what my relationship with God looks like now without the box of religion that I used to put around him. And so I'm doing the guided meditation this morning, and I'm like, oh shit. Okay, so, like, Selah, not only can it be like the name of the series of this, my relationship with God and what that looks like, what it used to look like, what it's evolved to, but also I feel like that's a book in and of itself of, like, what that journey has been like for me. And I was just like, that's so cool. Because it almost feels like I need to write that book before I can finish writing this one, because I was like, how am I going to finish writing this book when it's probably like 60% done, right? Maybe more. I have way more content than fits in a book. So I have to do some chopping, which is almost harder than just writing. So I was just like, how am I supposed to go back and edit that in my full authenticity of how I exist now, when, like, I don't even think that way in a lot of ways. I don't use that language anymore necessarily like that. That's not how I pray necessarily anymore. And I just felt so, like, stuck and afraid to, like, even go back and look at it. So it was just really exciting to get that, like, invitation almost to be like, you can write this book and share the whole story. You don't have to, like, explain, like, why you changed in a preface in 2 pages in this book. You can tell the whole story about it and embrace it and really experience, like, the beauty of what that's been like for you, because at the end of the day, it is a relationship that you have with God in your heart space. And, like, that's really beautiful. And even if you just write it for yourself, or even if one other person picks it up and they can resonate with it and they don't feel as alone, or maybe something in there helps them to find their own way to that. But yeah, that's really cool. Also, I want to show you this. Look at this journal. Right? Okay. If you don't know by now, purple is my favorite color. See? Yeah, I especially love this, like, I don't even know what to call it. It's like a pale purple almost. See my PJs. My sheets are that color. Look at this. It's velvet, so like the texture is there, right? I got it at Five Below today, but look how unique this is. I thought this was so cool. It's just a rope. Okay. You open it. It's lined papers. Has a little bookmark ribbon, right? Look at how you close it. I'm such a nerd. And that's it. Isn't that cute? Look at that. This makes me so happy. Look, I know. I know. Five Below if you want to get one. I'm like, I should have got like 10 of them. I love journals, but like beautiful, unique. I don't even know what I'm gonna put in it yet. All my dreams. Maybe it should be my dream journal. That, look at this. This is my scripting journal, right? What does it say? Make your dreams happen. Okay. Look at this pen. A couple of months ago, this woman walked into my job and she was like, my husband passed away and I make these pens and I sell them to try to support myself financially. This was one of the ones that she had. And they were $20 because she's trying to survive. And look at, like, this is like almost translucent. Doesn't this look like a magic wand? Like if you could imagine fairy godmother's magic wand, wouldn't it look something like this? So I was like, you know what? Yeah, of course, I'll support you. Like, good for you. And it's like not the most practical thing, but I like to use it like when I'm scripting, which is a form of journaling where you write as if you're already living the life that you are creating for yourself, which is really powerful. So that's really fun. I know. Anyways, I think that was everything. I'm gonna probably, there's so much to do. I need help editing, catching up on everything. Um, I want to finish editing that podcast, but also I want to finish editing my clips. And also inspiration keeps coming through, so I create new shit and new podcasts. And I'm like, maybe I should end season 2 and take a little break. I might, because I do want to finish the editing and get everything up to date. And it's, winter's coming. So I might do that. Maybe end it at like 40. I think I'm on 38 right now, so I could publish this one and maybe one more and probably end it there. Anyways, that's all. It's Saturday. I might do some hot yoga today. I'll probably go to my sister's. I'm hoping I get to see my friend, my man friend. Later he hasn't been friends yet, I guess. But that would be really cool. Um, Oh, I'm gonna go back to Five Below and get this shirt that I saw the other day. It was an Alphaba shirt. Alphaba from Wicked. Bro, if you haven't seen Wicked, then I don't know if this will spoil it for you because it's towards the end. Like almost 3 hours, right? And we saw it in theaters. We only got through like an hour and 10 minutes of it. Um, two of the girls were like, "I want to leave now." Like, that's fair. It's a long movie. Let's go. So we finished watching it when it came out on streaming, and I'd taken a gummy. I was watching it, and so like we watched the second half of it, and my mind was like first of all, Alphaba is my spirit animal. That's not how you say that. She's just like, we're here. You know what I mean? Like, one thing that just so stood out to me about her, especially at the end of the movie when she's invited to, what is it, the wizard's place, and he's like trying to get her to use her power to do something that isn't kind. I don't remember what it was. And she's like, no. I think it was something with the animals who she just like really connected with and was like kind. You know what I mean? And she's like, no, I'm not doing that. And so they basically ran a smear campaign on her and her name and her being and made her out to be the Wicked Witch and announced it and all these things and people are after her. But she stayed true to herself. Like she not even for a second even considered wavering from her truth and her integrity. And to me, like that was just like the most beautiful. The It was a long movie. It was a long movie, and it was good. Like it was obviously like entertaining. I'm not big on musicals, but the music was good, and there were a lot of scenes, especially with her, and like the dance scene with her and with Cynthia and Ariana Grande. That was really beautiful, and they're like, and oh man, it was so. I felt so like proud of her, this character, but just this energy and the embodiment of like integrity. You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't care what you're offering me. Like, no, right is right and wrong is wrong, and absolutely not. And I just really resonate with that, and so it was really cool to see that portrayed. So, anyways, I'm gonna go get that shirt because I fell in love with Alphaba and her character and what she stood for and how she didn't waver in her integrity, regardless of not just what she was losing out of because they were offering her a bunch of stuff and she had the power to do what they wanted her to do. But she was just like, fuck, like, absolutely not. Unapologetically. And I'm just like, that right there. That's exactly that's exactly how I want to live my life. And because I just am not willing to live my life under anything that is not true, on on any premise that is false whatsoever, because freedom freedom is the goal. And I feel like the only way to actually live free, especially in today's world where there's so much pressure and fear and all these things in the physical realm, the only way to live truly free is to be true to yourself, to have integrity with yourself first and the truth of what you want and who you are, and taking radical accountability for ways that you've shown up. I'll speak for myself, taking radical accountability for ways that I've shown up in my life and moving forward accordingly with changed behavior and changed habits and patterns and things like that, but also integrity to my truth and with people, like just humanity, like just seeing people as they are with their innate worth and the dignity that they deserve and respect and kindness, and like without having to forfeit any like integrity to my own truth, and being kind to myself without abandoning myself or betraying myself, but also speaking to the truth within people, no matter what people show me of what they want to portray themselves as. I see people, and that makes people really uncomfortable sometimes because they didn't intend themselves to be seen. And I get it. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not somebody who is seen very often by people. Like, people don't, they see very surface level, and that's okay. It's not their job to see me. That's totally fine. But I get that it would feel extremely vulnerable to be seen by somebody the way that I see people. And also at the same time, I see myself also. I don't just see people, like I see myself and I sit with myself in radical accountability and integrity and complete transparency about the truth of how I contributed to my life as it is now and what I want going forward, no matter who that disappoints or who that might affect. And just being completely honest with myself and my own truth in my life. That's what I mean by free. And Alphaba was just like a character personification. That's why I love stories so much, even if it's fiction, because it's like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Like goals, you know what I mean? Like, and it's cool to like live in this inner world and like feel like that's how I would show up and like, and intend, that, and make all these like plans and promises that like this is who I am going forward. And that's one thing. But it's another thing when life comes at you and it tests you in real time. And you have an opportunity to decide what kind of character you're going to show up with, what kind of integrity you're going to show up with. Are you going to actually exist as and do the things that you speak, that you say you're committed to, that this inner work that you've been doing, talking to myself, like, are you like, here's your big chance to prove not just to your life but to yourself that like in the face of more bullshit, in the face of unfair whatever, am I gonna shrink into victimhood, or am I gonna say, okay, one, okay, two, do you still actually believe that like nothing is wasted even in the face of more betrayal that you didn't deserve, even in the face of more people coming at you with their own bullshit, selfish agendas that you didn't deserve? Like, are you still going to now in this moment, in the middle of this experience, say, I know that this is happening for my good. I know that nothing is wasted. I know that I don't know why this happened. I know it feels like shit, but like, I trust, you know what I mean? That means a lot to me. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna go get Alphaba shirt because she's my hero these days. Um, water cup lotion. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go find hopefully a leopard print like water tumbler cup that Hobby Lobby that I saw a while ago. A little bit of like splurging, self care kind of. The hot yoga I think would be really nice. Anyways, I hope you have a good day. If you made it to the end of this video, drop a purple heart in the comments for me. And I will talk with you later. Bye.